Hey everyone, all too common occurrence in the gym all the time, maybe too often. How does Mark Ripito call it?
Back barbecue?
The back barbecue. So sometimes we get questions about, hey, what do I do when my back pumps out, right? And you've experienced this before. We'll see it with running, kettlebell swings, high rep squats, lots of Olympic lifting. Oftentimes what ends up happening is that if the spine is being taken too far to end range, what it does is try to protect itself. Brain is so clever and said, hey, I see you're doing a lot of this. We can't stabilize that anymore. Let's just lock it down. So that's the lockdown. And sometimes when the conversation is like, what do you mean by stiffness versus tightness? Well, that's tightness. That's neurologic. That's your brain being like, we're not going to deal with this anymore. You'll often see the phenomenon of musculature that's sort of exceeded its capacity, either for whatever reason, weakness or end range or just you can't handle it. We'll see the hamstrings get really stiff. Like you're just, and what a great phenomenon, right? The brain is like, oh, we'll just stiffen everything, try to protect it. But when this happens, what do you do? So I'm gonna show you a couple ways that we get around this problem. Now as a coach, Diane's like, oh, I got the back, I did some box jumps and my back's baked out. An easy way, you felt this before. Lay on your back, Di. This is one of our favorites in the gym. Is that notice what I'm going to be doing is taking Diane out of extension and putting her into flexion. So what I'll do is I'll grab her knees and bring her knees up to her chest and just block her legs so that, and then I'm just pushing in a little bit. And that just, obviously you can do this yourself. You can even get on your knees and do this yourself. But just this motion of taking those tissues to the end range. Now what we're doing is we've gotten Diane out of gravity, knees to chest. She can take some big belly breaths. And then we're actually adding in a little bit of flexion to the spine and through the hip. So in that way, because she's flexing, those tissues have to get a little bit longer. That's why it feels so good to just drape over. So we'll just hang out here and just with a little bit of pressure until the brain says, oh, we're not in threat anymore. And usually it lets go. So this is one way to do that. And again, Diane, imagine if Diane's on her stomach and just kind of what's happy baby, or pulling her knees to chest. Another great way to do it. Sometimes we need a little bit more weight. So Diane could flip her legs up, put a pressure underneath her hips. So she's got a peanut there. Legs can go up on the wall by herself. And if the legs are up on the wall, then what we've done again is gone to long lever, which loads the fascia. She can relax here, and then she can even bend the knees if she needs and go butt to the wall. And now what we've got is same position, some flexion, but we've got constant tension. And what's nice about just having a little weight of your body on the peanut in the paraspinals is that tone, an easy way to break tone is actually with just some constant pressure. So one of our favorite ways to break tone in athletes, just constant pressure. And you can see suddenly, basically that's like an isometric shutdown. So Pavel used to talk about this all the time. If you just take the tissues to end range and make them work in this isometric, eventually the brain's like, okay, we'll give it up. And if it's already in this tonic lockdown phase, trying to protect you or whatever, then you just are adding in a little vector load right in the middle of the system, and that's the same thing as adding in additional sort of isometric. So eventually the tissue breaks. So it's like me just putting my elbow and slowly letting it go, right? Another key here is that, lastly, is that Diane could just drape her body over a ball and just belly there. And what's nice about this is notice, the first thing we did was, hey, here's a coach. I can be saying, hey, be cool. I've got your knees, no panic, it'll be fine, right? You just overdid it, it happens. But now, all these interventions can be driven by the athlete. And what's nice about this is we've introduced some flexion, we're getting some constant pressure through the abdominals, the abdominal wall, right? All the fascia therein, right? We're not pushing directly on her psoas, we've got through all the thing, but now she can work on breathing. Again, getting out of gravity changes how the brain is thinking about the spine. It suddenly is, hey, this is a non-threatening position where she can really work on taking some big breaths here and just doing some big diaphragmatic breathing, and that can help also calm this whole system down. Notice once again, knees are in flexion, and we find that this flexed position is a wonderful way to restore this. Follow up then later on, hey, I want you to make sure that you're walking 10 to 12,000 steps. Let's get enough non-threatening input into the system. and of course, any other tools that you like. But here's a couple ideas around the back barbecue.